Like, I want to know how Furina's house looks inside. So many places that I want to look inside of. That was a little weird thing to say out of context. Don't worry about it. Greetings, humans. I am Master Corvidien, and today we have returned once again to Genshin Impact. So previously, the Archon Quests sacrificed herself so that she could return Nouvelette's dragon sovereign abilities to him. Now he has full control of water. As you can see behind me, the Overtrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale is no longer functioning. It no longer works because this was the true Archon the whole time. Which I kind of assumed. In the beginning they were like, Lenny heard a voice when he was down there, and that was kind of always on my mind, like, whose voice was that? So my thought was like, what if it's the Archon? That would be pretty crazy. But then I was like, that's silly. That's silly. Why would it be the Archon? Clearly Furina is the Archon, but no, Furina was a vessel, a human created for the purpose of simply appearing to be the Archon when, in fact, the true Archon was here and she was gathering up Indenidium in order to destroy herself and return our man here's abilities. It was an extremely disturbing quest, extremely depressing quest. I think a lot of good things came out of it, but yeah, extremely depressing. Perhaps the most depressing. I was so against, just not exactly against, but I was just so annoyed with Furina, you know? I was like, what is she doing? What are you doing? Stop, you're annoying, go away, that kind of thing. But the whole time, she was just acting. And she was losing her mind the whole time. And now, she no longer has to keep appearances up. But people still think that she should die or something. Because apparently, the last thing that was told to the people of Fontaine is that the Archon should receive the death penalty. That is what people know. So I don't know what's going on. Anyway, we have yet to do Furina's story quest. I left curious. Where is Furina? What is she doing right now that her performance has ended? It's over. She is no longer acting as the Hydro Archon. So what's she doing? I'm really curious. I hope she's doing okay. I forgot entirely that she has a story quest. So today we're going to continue the story quest, and all I can say is I have all my best wishes for her. We'll see what happens. We'll see how Furina's holding up. It looks like we're going to the Adventurers Guild. Let's see what they got for us.
Hey Catherine, it's us. Got any new commissions? Specifically one with a huge more attack, perhaps?
Huge more attack. You didn't have to be so direct. The more lucrative, the better. Paimon, just chill.
Just being enthusiastic. We're old friends now, she gets it.
That's true, she does.
It's always a pleasure to see our two most avid adventurers again. Looking for the next challenge, I see.
As always.
Actually, we do in fact have a rather urgent commission that is still open. Having read the details, however, I don't believe you'd consider it to be lucrative.
Don't worry about that. We were just kidding.
Definitely, totally kidding.
To put it simply, the requester is looking for a temporary replacement actress for their musical. The original cast member ran into some issues and is currently unable to perform the role. But the troupe has also been experiencing some financial difficulties, so unfortunately they cannot afford to pay the replacement actress.
That does sound like a tricky situation. So basically they're looking for a volunteer?
That's right. Our adventurers reached out to many actresses, but none of them were willing to take the job. There are only a few days left until the performance, If they can't find someone in time, they'll probably have to postpone the show. And delays tend to create all sorts of new problems.
I could do it.
Oh, this one's a doozy. What do you think, Traveler? Any ideas? Even if we took the commission, neither of us have any experience starring in musicals.
Very true, but I'm also very talented. Like I can cook, I can fight, I can clean. I've done everything, every possible thing. Why can't I act? You know, I kind of did an act in the last Archon Quest. It was really I was a kind of depressing act, and I hate myself for it. But I did it.
If you're interested in helping, why not start by having a chat with the requester? He's right over there.
Oh.
Maybe you can't fill the role yourselves, but you might be able to help him figure out another solution.
Wait, do I know this guy?
Maybe there's something he hasn't thought of.
Looks really familiar.
Oh, it's that guy, huh? No wonder, he looks like he just ate a sour lemon.
Got it. We'll go talk to him.
Paimon approves, let's go!
Excuse me, sir. Are you okay?
Hello there, are you the guy looking for a new actress?
Wait, I know you two. Are you really willing to act in my musical?
I might not know him.
Like
Do I know him?
famous in Fontaine already. But to answer your question, neither of us have any experience in musicals.
Looks like the guy that worked at the shop
So we figured we could at least try to help you think of
down
a
the way.
solution.
I don't know.
Ah, I see. It's okay. I knew that asking for a volunteer was a long shot. If we can't find someone to step in, we'll have no choice but to cancel the show. It would be such a shame.
Can't you cover the budget for a new actress with ticket fees, perhaps?
That's the thing. We're not some high-profile theater troupe, just a group of amateur enthusiasts. All our sets and props are very crude. We're grateful enough just to get an audience, never mind ticket fees.
Ah, yes,
If we had a
cardboard.
way to make this profitable, things might have turned out differently. But now, it looks inevitable that we'll disband.
Disband? You're splitting up the troupe?
Oh, I guess the lady at the Adventurers Guild didn't tell you? Yeah, this is supposed to be our final show together as a troupe. One
No!
last show. And after that, we go our separate ways. So we were really hoping to end on a high note. Nobody wants things to just fizzle out. Not after all the time and effort we've invested into it.
Catherine mentioned that one of her actresses can't make it?
Yeah, the leading lady, in fact. She's been dealing with a chronic illness ever since childhood.
Oh.
And unfortunately, it flared up again recently. It really drains all her energy, so she's in no state to perform. The show just won't be the same without her. But for everyone else's sake, I still hope we can find a way to hold the performance on schedule.
Got it. We have a clearer picture now. Let's see if we can come up with any ideas. What if we sponsored the show? Traveler, how much more are you carrying?
Like millions,
Please,
actually.
There's no need to go that far.
Like, I have
wouldn't
so
feel
much.
right asking such a huge favor. And
I have so much.
promise that we'd ever be able to pay you back.
More isn't the biggest problem. How do we find someone who's a good fit for the role? That's the issue.
Good point. If the actress just goes through the motions for the Mora, that's not exactly rescuing the show. We should find someone who will put on the best performance possible. Oh, wait! What about... you know who?
Great minds think alike. I was just thinking that. You guys were, but if they're thinking about who think they're thinking about, that is the worst idea because that's not going to go over that well. People are mad. I feel like they're mad, aren't they? I mean, she's a great actress, but like, I don't know. This could get could get a little dicey. That's all I'm saying.
That's how you know we're the best of partners. Anyway, she should have all the free time in the world right now. She's really good at performing, and she was once super popular with the crowd. Performing in a musical should be a piece of cake for her.
Who are you thinking of? Sounds like someone
I
famous.
kind of don't think she wants to perform anymore. I feel like she's retired. She doesn't want to do that. She's traumatized. She's like probably somewhere like smoking a cigarette right now. Like, anyway, it's Furina. It's Furina.
Her? You're... That was a joke, right?
Paimon doesn't actually know if she's performed on stage before, but Paimon's
She has. She's performed
really good at it.
every place she stood at in
You're
Fontaine.
not wrong there. She has actually performed in a number of big-name shows before. They were one of the reasons she was so popular. But even if she's no longer the Hydro Archon, it's not like she's suddenly a commoner. She's still an idol to many people in Fontaine, including myself. I just think Lady Furina might feel a bit out of place in an amateur troupe like ours.
So people do know that she's no longer the Hydro Archon. Do they know that Nouvelette's the Hydro Dragon? Sovereign? Do they know, like, everything? Do they know that the previous Archon sacrificed herself? Do they know why the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal is no longer functioning? I don't know everything. I don't know what's happening. However, at least Furina has like still a good standing among people, right? Like she's still an idol to people. I'm happy about that. I'm really happy about that. You want the show to go ahead, don't you? Are you prepared to do whatever it takes?
Well, yes, but
nothing.
Fair enough.
That's right.
If she was actually willing to, then of course I'd be honored to have Lady Furina star in our show.
God, this would be fantastic.
I'm sure the rest of the troupe would be delighted too.
I still think she's tired
I'm
and
sure
she doesn't
everyone
want
in
to
our
do
troupe
anything
has
though.
Probably dreamt of performing on stage with her one day. Of course, it all depends on whether she's interested. She might consider this opportunity beneath her.
No, it's above her. She's tired. She wants to not do this.
Things are different now.
Highly doubt she's interested.
For her to be all high and mighty anymore.
Let's go. It'll be good to check in on her anyway, wherever she is.
Thank you for your help.
I don't know where she is
I
though.
guess I'll just stay here and wait for the good news.
She could be in
Good
Liyue for all I know.
Wait, where does Furina actually live nowadays? She used to live in
No
luxury
idea.
at the Palais Mermonia, but she's moved out, right?
Yeah.
As it happens, I have her
Oh.
current address here. I can
Wow.
provide it to you.
Thank you, Catherine.
When did you get here?
I came over when things were starting to sound more promising. I thought I should be at the ready in case my assistance is needed. It is my duty to support commissioners in any way I can.
Why, thank you, Catherine.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Well, now that we've got the address, we'll go find Furina. Back in the...
That I did not mean to press that. Same. It is what it is. She said what she had to say. She is still at the Court of Fontaine. I thought she would move out into the countryside somewhere where like she was alone, but she's still here. People could just knock on her door whenever they want. It's a decent dwelling. Alright, well, Furina. Hello? Knock knock. Who's there?
Did Catherine really give us the right address? She lives here?
Just the house.
Not that there's anything wrong with this place. It's just a bit of a step down from the Palais Mermonia.
She's just a person now, like any other actor.
It's common courtesy
Oh.
to make sure the homeowner isn't in earshot when you're denigrating their abode.
Furina? Hello?
When did popping out of thin air become all the rage? First Catherine and now you?
She still
I
has
was just out on a shopping trip.
everything on.
I ran out of macaroni, so I went to grab a few more bags.
I thought she'd have like
I
sweatpants on or
used to
something.
have a much wider range of choices when it came to food. But now I'm finding that simple, traditional home cooking can be quite delicious too.
It's true. It's quite delicious. Don't you get sick of macaroni every day? And
Not at
ramen?
all. As long as you have different kinds of sauces in, you can have macaroni and tomato sauce one week,
Oh my
macaroni
god.
and bolognese the next.
She's
Oh,
Her
sounds like
personality
really
is so
struggling to
different.
cope.
Is it because you have to do all your own cooking now?
How rude! Questioning my cooking skills. The audacity!
Oh,
It's not
there
like
it is.
I have a very eventful life these days. Actually, I barely leave the house. So I don't see
Oh.
how it's unusual that my meals are a little simpler now too.
It-
Besides, I'm
Oh.
sure I could master dishes like la
Furina, no.
Fauchelor or for blubber profiteroles in no time, if I felt so inclined.
I mean, it's true. As long as you follow the
You
recipe.
don't know how to cook.
I mean,
Not yet, maybe, but... Anyway,
practice makes perfect.
What are you even doing here? I do hope you didn't come here just to ogle at my fall from grace.
No way.
Let me
Never.
first be clear
Never,
that
Furina.
I'm not
I'm sorry,
taking
never.
this at this time. So if you're just here to clown around, then please be on your way. Shoot!
Sorry! We're sorry! Please don't be mad!
Paimon was just showing concern for your well-being.
Yeah, exactly! What the Traveler said! Paimon wasn't trying to make fun of you.
Even though you still do that anyway, Paimon, by accident. That's not important. We actually came here to ask you for your help.
My help? Well, maybe you're forgetting that I'm no longer the mighty Hydro Archon. I don't even have a vision, you know.
Yes, you do.
It's nothing that serious. It's just very specific, and you're the one with the power to help.
If not you, then no one. You're the only person for the job.
Oh? Well, if that's the case, then fine. I'll spare you the lecture about your attitude just now.
Okay.
So tell me, what specifically makes this matter so specific?
You're gonna be a star. You tell Furina about the troop's plans for its final performance.
I see.
She's not interested.
You couldn't have come all this way just to amuse yourselves at my expense.
She's not interested.
After all, I was once the brightest star in all of Fontaine, well versed in all the various performing arts. A mere musical is well within my capabilities.
Okay,
But
so are you...
Given the present circumstances, I'm afraid I must regretfully decline your
I freaking knew it.
request.
I knew it. I knew it.
It sounds like this would be a breeze for you.
She's tired.
True, but I have made a decision to retire from the stage.
Yeah.
Although I am no longer
Tracks.
required to play the role of the Hydro Archon, the time I spent inhabiting that character has left an indelible mark on me. Centuries of pretending to be a different person changes you completely. I'm not the same person I once was. Of course, that can't be undone now. It's too late, and I have no intention of reinventing myself all over again. But at least I can say that I no longer desire to play any new roles.
So that's how you really feel. Yeah, it is.
I can understand, but this is just a one-off part to fill in for someone who's sick. Surely that's okay.
Whether it's a one-off or not, it's a boundary that I've committed to no longer cross.
Respect the
If I
boundaries.
make an exception to the rule now, I'm just leaving a back door for myself, which would be the same as not having a boundary in the first place. So I'm not going to perform, and that is that.
Okay, guess there's no convincing you. Well, is there anything else we can do to help out the troupe? Otherwise, they'll just have to disband without any fanfare. Do you know any other actors who might be interested in the role?
Nope.
Short and to the point, okay.
I've never been great at maintaining relationships.
Same. I don't... How do you do that? I don't
Anyone I've
know.
ever worked with probably couldn't wait to get rid of me. Since I'm just an ordinary person now, they'll probably just laugh in my face if I go asking them for help.
Oh, jeez. You shouldn't assume the worst of people. What's wrong with making one exception?
Look, I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry I drew a line in the sand without thinking about every possible grain on the other side.
Well,
This is literally Furina.
is there anything
She-
else we can do? This performance really means a lot to the
It's
guy
been centuries.
you're working for.
She's
Have
traumatized.
I not made myself clear? You're barking up the wrong tree. I don't want this job, nor do I know of anyone else who would. Sorry. I didn't mean for that to sound so harsh. I wish I could help, really. But if I thought I had the answer to this problem, I would have said so by now.
It's all right, Furina. Paimon just wanted to make sure we tried everything. Oh, everyone in the troupe will be so disappointed.
Let's try to come up with a plan B.
Yeah, I guess that's all we can do now. Alright then, we'll see you around, Furina!
Goodbye, Furina.
Toodaloo to you too. I'm going home to take a rest now.
And to have some ramen and eat Doritos out of the bag with chopsticks. That's her life now. Sweatpants. She's gonna watch anime. It is what it is. It is what it is. Damn, Furina. I mean, her house is way cooler than my house. That's all I'm gonna say. Except she has people outside of it all the time. It's like there's an entire newsstand here. You okay with this, Furina? I don't know. Alright.
It's too bad, but we have to respect Furina's decision. Maybe the thought of performing brings up too many painful memories now. Huh? What's going on? Are they arguing?
That's besides the point. I'll ask you again. Why did you start looking for a replacement without my consent? When did I tell you I'm going to take a step back?
You didn't need to say it. We've known each other for how
It's the
long
original
now?
actress.
We know the signs. But you never tell us about your illness, even when it's clearly flaring up.
And that gives you the right to make a decision on my behalf?
She's right. She's
Shortly
right, though.
after you left, the troop's lead actress came to the Adventurers Guild. She believes that she's healthy enough to perform. Excuse me, but can you both take a moment to discuss something else for now? The adventurer assigned to your commission has returned.
Sorry, I was just dealing with a little misunderstanding. So, how did your conversation with Furina go?
Sadly, it's a no from her. We tried to persuade her, but she wasn't having it. She doesn't want to play the role for personal reasons.
I see.
This should be of no surprise to
Well,
anyone. How does no one
circumstances have
understand?
changed a little, so maybe that's not such bad news after all. You see, our leading lady has just informed me that she's well enough to make it to the show after all. Staging the musical with the full original cast was always the dream, of course.
A little worried about this, though.
Right. Sounds like everything worked itself out then.
Imagine if we had managed to convince Furina to join, only for her to find out she's no longer needed. Oh, that'd have been even more depressing.
Yeah, she'd be livid. We'd get the
She'd just be
scolding
sad,
of a
I think.
lifetime.
Jeez, is Lady Furina really so harsh with people?
No.
Only joking, calm down. So, guess we can consider this case closed now, huh? Despite the fact that we failed to complete the commission, we were still racking our brains for ideas on the way back here.
Look, there's no point arguing with you about this anymore. You've made yourself very clear, so I'll stop looking for a replacement. This is the last chance we have, though. If your illness flares up again, there won't be time to find anyone to replace you. So, are you absolutely sure you'll be able to handle it? The whole team is putting everything they have into this final performance. We have to make sure it goes ahead.
Yes, I'm completely confident. I've been taking a new medication from the doctor, and it's working brilliantly. I'll definitely be able to tough it out until the performance day. I share everyone's desire to commemorate all our years as a troupe with a proper farewell show. So the last thing I want is to be left out.
She sounds familiar.
Every
Why
one
does she
of
sound
us
familiar?
thinks of this troupe as their home, myself included.
You're right. I'm sorry. I let myself get too worried about the show. I should have asked for your permission first.
All's well that ends well. Sounds like the show will go on.
Come on. Wait here for a second.
Sure.
Oh.
Hey, how did you... I was just passing by because I realized I forgot a couple of items on my shopping list.
It's so true. It's super true and real.
Alright, I'm coming. No need to drag me.
Oh, this is gonna be awkward. Oh, jeez.
Hello, one and all. I couldn't help but overhear your conversation just now.
You don't have to put the character on, Furina.
Didn't you say you were gonna take a rest at home? What are you doing here?
I was just ever so slightly concerned about the situation you mentioned. Yes, a teensy bit concerned, that's all. When you came
Just
to
a
talk
teensy
with
bit.
me earlier, I jumped right to explaining my position and said some strongly worded things. And all before I even had a full grasp of the situation. Anyway, I just feel a bit bad about how it went down. I'm sorry,
Aw.
Paimon.
Oh, it's totally fine. Paimon didn't take any of that personally.
Listen, I didn't cry in the last quest, okay? I never cried. There were no tears. There were none. There were so many tears. You didn't hear because I was quiet for most of it, but I was like, it was a mess. I was a freaking mess. I could barely see the screen. Anyway, then why didn't you just show yourself?
You really have a knack for asking the most uncomfortable questions, don't you?
That's what makes
I
the
felt
traveler
very
the traveler.
sheepish, having had a change of heart after flatly refusing you. And then, to make matters worse, you caught me. But in any case, it sounds like the issue has already been resolved.
Yeah. When they said they were gonna ask for your help, I almost had a heart attack. I mean, how could we be worthy of having Lady Furina star in our show?
There's no need to think like that, and no need to keep addressing me as lady. Just Furina is fine. I was wondering, if this troupe is so important to all of you, why does it have to disband? If the difficulties are purely financial, then there must be a solution. You could put the shows on pause while you look for a sponsor, for instance. Everyone seems so devoted to the troupe. I'm sure if you keep chipping away, you'll find a way through.
We all want to believe that, but some things are just beyond our control. Everything's been going downhill ever since we lost our director. She was the heart and soul of our troupe. She
I know who
kept
this
us
is.
going.
Her name was O'Reilly.
This is Dia's actor.
As well as the artistic director of our troupe. And tragically, she was a victim in this serial disappearances case.
What?
She's an oceanid now.
That's actually how I recognized these two. It was all thanks to their efforts that the true culprit was brought to justice. But still, no sentence can bring our director back to us.
She was a loyal fan of your performances, Miss Furina. They were what first inspired her to get into musical theater. She rallied many people around her who were destitute or had lost their sense of purpose in life, and convinced them to join her troupe. She wrote her own scripts, acted on stage, and mentored each and every one of us. People loved our performances back then. We seemed to be going from strength to strength. Things were really looking up for us.
And then disaster struck.
Yeah. After that, the entire troupe fell into disarray. None of us know anything about script writing, let alone how to handle the business side of things. We've been doing the best we can. But despite our efforts, things are slowly but surely falling apart.
God, I hope that guy's
It's
rotting right
agonizing.
now.
But
Fuck that
ultimately,
guy.
we'd rather end things now on our own terms than stick it out to the bitter end and watch all our dreams turn to dust.
Oh.
So sad.
What a terrible waste. A gifted artist from humble beginnings who achieved so much and no doubt had much more to give. And then her life was so cruelly taken.
I hope he's
suppose
rotting.
It's fair to say then that this final show, besides being your farewell to the stage, is also your final gift for her?
Yes, exactly. We all miss her terribly.
Well, good thing I followed the traveler here. After hearing this tragic tale, I can no longer stand by and do nothing.
Furina.
I know what you're thinking, but I by no means plan to cross the boundary I've set for myself. Besides, they're no longer looking for a replacement anyway.
So what are you gonna
I can,
do?
However, provide some artistic guidance from the vantage point of a highly experienced audience member.
Nice.
But only if you feel this is something that would help, of course.
Oh, most definitely. We'll take any guidance that you can give.
We unfortunately don't have any budget for a consultant, though. Will that be a problem?
I don't need any compensation. All I'd ask in return, if you're willing, is that you tell me some more about the life and work of your late director. Something I've begun to realize since my departure from the Opera Epiclese is that there's a lot you don't see when you observe everything from on high. The law only
It's true.
judges criminal behavior and does not weigh human emotion.
Yep.
The court's verdict can settle the question of criminal liability, but what about all the unresolved emotions of the parties involved? What happens to them?
A verdict can bring emotional catharsis. They come pouring out and flow away to infinity.
An interesting answer. But if you ask me, I think all emotion shall ultimately return home to the heart and slowly settle with the passage of time. Take, par exemple, how this troupe pines for their late director. Things such as this I have never witnessed before, and so I should like to observe, perchance to understand.
Huh. Still a fan of your old dramatic monologues then, huh? You just want to
Time
get
up.
back in on the action, don't you?
Time up.
No. This is a completely different situation. Pearls before swine.
The name's not Swine, it's Paimon!
Same thing.
Would you be willing to join me? Come on, take a break from adventuring to listen to a story.
Since it's you, I'll do it. Especially since it's related to the serial disappearances case.
Thank you all so much. Our director was a huge fan of Miss Furina's performances, as of course we all are. Alright, follow me. We'll go to our usual practice space. Please excuse the size. It's a little on the smaller side.
I could almost see Furina just being tortured by everything, but when she's in her roles on stage, not as the Anima Archon, I could almost see her being kind of comforted by those roles as like a kind of break, like a release from those from the role of Anima Archon, and that could have very well kept her going. That would have kept me going. Okay. Here we are. Nice. Gorgeous.
Huh? Lady Furina?
Yeah.
What's Lady
It was
Furina
immediate.
doing here?
I'm so happy that everybody's like,
Allow me to explain.
everybody still
As of
likes
today,
her and looks up to her.
Miss Furina will be supporting our production of The Little Oceanid in the role of artistic consultant. These two over here are the ones that made it possible. They kindly reached out to Miss Furina on our behalf. I'm sure they need no introduction.
You bet! That was the trial of the century!
You helped bring our director's murderer to justice. We can't thank you enough.
Oh, please don't mention it. We're just here to join in on the fun.
So, you were saying The Little Oceanid?
The Little
Yeah,
Oceanid.
That's the name of our final show. It's an unfinished script left behind by our director. One of our greatest regrets is that she never got to complete it. So, if we can bring it to the stage and make it a successful show, we can all take some solace in that.
Wait, but if it's not finished, then...
Finding an actress was the least of your problems.
Yeah, we've been battling issues on every front trying to realize this dream. Anyway, let me give you a quick summary of what the story's all about. The
Okay.
protagonist of the story is a young Oceanid who transforms herself into human form, despite the protests of her family. She longed to live just like any other human, and sure enough, she found friendship and even love. Everything seemed perfect. But one day, her true identity was exposed, and her world came crashing down around her.
No!
So far, so good. A classic tale. What happened after that?
That's one of the issues we've been trying to deal with. Unfortunately, this was as far as the director got with her script. We need a proper ending so we can bring this musical to the stage.
God, that's depressing.
But people have different opinions on which direction to take it in.
We still haven't decided between a happy ending or a true-to-life tragedy.
By
you can make
true
it
to
both.
life, you mean the director's sudden disappearance?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like they say, truth is stranger than fiction. But then there's the question of whether we really want to use the stage to pass our raw pain onto the audience.
Exactly. A lot of the time, people come to watch a show just hoping for some light entertainment. We have to consider their emotional stake in this, not just our own. And one last thing. We're still waiting on confirmation from two of our main actors. The first is Paulo, who plays the protagonist's lover. He's locked himself away to focus on writing an ending for the script. But the deadline's passed, and we still haven't heard from him. The other is Villemont, who plays the main antagonist. He took the director's death pretty hard. Hasn't set foot in the city since.
Oh, he's outside of the city.
He did write to us, promising that he'll be there for the final performance, but we haven't seen or heard from him since. So we're not really sure what to make of that.
Huh. Although, now that we have Miss Furina helping us, maybe we should take the opportunity to get everyone back together.
They might come back
What
if
opportunity?
Furina's involved.
What do you mean?
Maybe you're unaware, but your name has always been like a rallying cry for us.
Our director was constantly singing your praises. All of us look up to you as a role model.
Oh, stop. You're making me all flustered. Although, not in a bad way. I suspect the reason they're dragging their feet is that they have their doubts about whether the show will really go ahead, considering all the issues you've been facing. But one by one, all the obstacles are being removed. Now is the time to rally the troops.
Makes sense. Okay, priority number 1, let's check in with Paulo and see where he's at with the ending. He went back to Poisson a few days ago. Said that staying in a friend's home might help him to relax and escape the feeling of isolation.
I thought the last thing his friend would want right now would be to take visitors, given that Poisson was flooded not too long ago. But I guess it's the opposite. A friend in need and all that.
Yeah, maybe you could use some company.
Poisson.
Poisson. Something wrong?
Nothing. I suppose my presence will be indispensable if we are to restore his faith in the show. So, allons-y. To Poisson!
We're going to Poisson. People there still might be angry at Furina because all of their loved ones are dead, and to them she did nothing. But I mean, if they knew the situation, they should know that, like, she literally could not do anything. She couldn't do what she wanted. But I don't know.
Pressure's on now. We gotta make sure we're fully prepared.
You're off to Poisson to find Paulo, right?
Yep.
Have a safe trip. We'll take care of the troop while you're gone.
I hope he doesn't hate Furina now. That's all I'm saying. I'm a little worried. Wasn't this nice? I hope I can come back in here later. I like being able to, like, just go into buildings and just hang out. I hate that every building is just a door and then you kind of walk past it all the time. Like, I want to know how Furina's house looks inside. So many places that I want to look inside of. That was a little weird thing to say out of context. Don't worry about it. Alright, welcome back to Poisson. These people doesn't look so bad anymore. There's actual humans here again. Hello, hello. Hello, everyone. There's a cat.
It's your own darn fault.
Sorry, ma'am. Sorry. Anywhere you can see children playing and having fun, like, you got nothing to say. Got nothing to say. It's good. Things are going all right. You know. Even if there's been some trauma, like, at least the children are playing. You know, at least. Find a place where children can be happy. But I'm glad that things are kind of back to normal, relatively. Some of these faces aren't. Well, I feel like we're missing some people, and I can't remember exactly. I feel like I don't know. And I feel it definitely looks different, right? It has to. I feel like it looks different. Things were not like this before. I don't know. Something. I haven't really wandered around here as much. But I feel like things have changed, and it's a little disconcerting. Anyway, let's check out this fellow. I don't think this is gonna go well, personally.
If I remember correctly, this
I'm a little
is where
worried
he's
about
staying.
Who is it?
It's me. Is the script ready?
You came all the way here for that?
All right. Forget that for now. Just come on out. We've got some great news.
Nice try. Look, just give me some time, okay? I'm just wrapping up this last part of the script. I'll be out once I'm done.
Okay then. Looking forward to your masterpiece.
You're just gonna stop there? No. What are you doing?
So, as expected, he's missed the deadline.
The ending is one of the most important parts of the show. Even once he's done, it isn't final until we've all had the chance to read through and make sure we agree on it.
Someone told me they'd just seen you in Poisson.
Navia.
I assumed it was a case of mistaken identity, but sure enough, here you are. And Furina, too.
I was wondering if we might run into her.
So, you're here for Paolo? Looks like he could be a while, so feel free to take a stroll around town in the meantime. I've made all the arrangements already.
Oh, it's okay. We can just wait here.
What?
Thank you for being so considerate, Miss Navia. That sounds wonderful. We'll take that stroll.
We're gonna
Overheard
stroll.
you? How oblivious are you?
We're gonna stroll so hard.
How are things in Poisson now? Any better?
Things are on the mend, but it's a slow process. Some people may never recover from the trauma they experienced.
Yep.
I'm sorry to hear that. I wish there was something I could do.
I wish there was something you could have ever done.
Must our conversations take such a depressing turn every time we meet? We all have painful memories, but we don't have to let them cloud everything we do. And if you're trying to make a new start, perhaps it's best if you don't bring up the past all the time.
Thank you for your words of comfort. You make a very good point. But for now, at least, I think I should stay with the way I'm feeling for a while longer.
Yeah.
It's okay. These things take time. Moving on from a painful experience is easier said than done.
It's true.
Which brings me to why I'm here. I thought you should probably know that not everyone here is ready to forgive and forget after the Hydro Archon's inaction in the face of catastrophe. To avoid
Furina's a victim too, though.
I told the townspeople that everyone here is a member of the theater troupe, and that you are just an actress playing the role of Furina. It's not a perfect solution, but hopefully it means you won't have to lie low while you're here.
That's so thoughtful, Navia.
Well, what do you expect?
Why would they be mad at
I am the
Furina?
courageous and
Like,
considerate president of Spina di Rosula, after all, like my father before me.
maybe they
Anyway,
don't have the
that
full
was all.
story.
Look after her now.
They don't know that she has been the one fighting and trying to work through all of this alone for hundreds of years, centuries, alone with no one to talk to by herself, and then had everyone turn against her at the same time. Like, it's so deep. It's heavy, and I got nothing to be mad at Furina about. Like, she was all she was trying to do was keep Fontaine safe. Everything she did was to keep Fontaine safe, and she didn't know exactly what was happening. And she knew that all she knew is that if she broke character, things were gonna end. And I think it's like I get what the Hydro Archon was doing, but it's fucked up. It's so messed up, and Furina's traumatized. Like, And I don't think Furina did anything wrong. She did her best. She's been trying and trying to figure things out this whole time. The whole time she's trying to stop everything that happened, and she could not, and that added to the drama. So people need to understand, I think, and I don't know if people have the full picture yet. I hope at some point they understand. But if the full picture has been mentioned and people understand that she went through all of this for hundreds of years, then it sucks that people are still mad at her. I just find that ridiculous. Anyway, got it, Navia. Thank you.
Off we go then. Let's take a look up there. I don't have any friends that I can be frank and honest with, so maybe she's right. You're the closest thing to friends that I have.
I'll be your homie.
I'm so grateful
I'm gonna fight
that
this
Miss
man.
Mafia was so understanding. To be perfectly honest, I didn't know if I was ready to meet her. It's always easiest to just run away from your problems. But that never fixes anything. You can't get around the obstacles without facing them.
So that's why you were nervous when they brought up Poisson.
Yeah. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't scared of coming back here. Still, I felt it was something I had to do. As I was saying before, I want to see for myself the things that I never could in the past. I'd be overjoyed if the people here could find it in their hearts to forgive me. But they're more likely to unleash a tirade of vitriol against me. Which, of course, I completely understand and accept.
You should. I don't understand it. I don't accept it. Why are they mad? What did she do? They should be mad at the old Hydro Archon for keeping this information from people. And for, like, just so much other stuff, even though her motives were good. But, like, oh my god, you know? Anyway, I will protect Furina with my life. I don't care. I will stand in front of every bullet now. I used to be so mad at her. I was so annoyed with her, but now I'm just like, if anybody even looks at her wrong, I will poke you in the eyes and throw you into a volcano. In whichever order it has to happen. Anyway, I'm sure some people didn't buy Navia's lie.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I can tell people are watching me. I'm sure some people here see the idea of someone coming to Poisson dressed as the Hydro Archon as extremely disrespectful.
That's true by
I
itself,
used
though.
to be
That's kind
terrified of the gaze of other people, especially when they had suspicion or resentment in their eyes. I guess I wasn't quite ready for this after all.
It's a bit early,
Surprised you
honestly.
making yourself go through all of this.
Maybe you've taken on a bit too much in one go.
I can't let myself see only the things I want to see. How would that make me any different from before?
Look, there seems to be a
No.
over there.
I'm not staying quiet either.
Probably time we made a move.
Yeah, we should go.
How about we check out Spina di Rasula's ship? We should have a view of the whole of Poisson from there.
Okay. Let's hope we don't get, like, a giant crowd below the ship next time. That'll be a problem. By the way, I thought that that girl's voice actor was Dia, but it was not Dia. She sounded similar. Dia's voice actor is Amber May. But I thought that I forgot her name. I forgot the character's name, but I thought she was Amber May, but it was not Amber May. It was Rebecca. I forgot. Rebecca Moreno. That is her name. That is the actor of the girl in this story quest. Also, I love that I'm like Nouvelette wandering around.
You probably just wanted a relaxing stroll, And here I am dumping all this heavy stuff on you.
I am not surprised. This is normal. You're literally grieving
It's
and
actually
recovering from
refreshing
trauma
to
right
see a
now.
different side of you.
It's extremely refreshing.
Great. Well, I appreciate your company, so please don't disappear just yet. I don't know whether you can tell, but the years of suffering and loneliness aren't the only reason I have a hard time facing up to who I used to be. As I stand here by the ship, I can't get the images of the rising water out of my mind. One after another, people were taken by the water. All those treasured lives and memories washed out of existence in an instant. They thought their god would protect them. They had absolute faith that when disaster struck, a divine power would save them from harm. And all the while, I played my part to perfection to convince them that was true. But then the floodwaters finally came, and the Hydro Archon did nothing.
I mean, the Aura Tree's Mechanic Denali's Cardinal did nothing.
You were only doing your duty.
Like, you literally could not do anything. You had no power to do anything. You don't even have a vision. You're just a normal human. What were you gonna do? Like, the true Hydro Archon was just sitting there letting this happen. Like, people are dead, which I was really hoping they could come back. I was really hoping that Maelus and Silver could come back. Speaking of Maelus, I also thought Maelus was Sungwon Cho, but it's not Sungwon Cho. That is, I forgot his name, but I'm really bad at placing voice actors when I hear. If they sound similar, then I'm just like, that's who this is. Anyway, I thought Maelus and Silver would come back, but they didn't. I feel like they could. Nouvelette has the ability to do that now. I feel like he could do that, but maybe not the best idea. I think Celestia would still be pissed off. Anyway, Furina, don't be so harsh on yourself.
I've had to go through so many moments like that for the sake of protecting the truth. As time went on, it got harder and harder to bear, and I became more lonely and isolated. Eventually, I realized I had nothing left except the truth. I became terrified of completely failing in my task, and was haunted by the thought of being left all alone, weeping on my throne. Fortunately, we were able to avoid the worst-case scenario thanks to the help of heroic individuals such as yourselves. Everyone rose to their responsibilities, and I finally regained my freedom. But on some level, freedom also means no longer being needed. I have no further use to people.
Yes, you do.
I would have never imagined
Yes, you
you'd
do.
see it that way.
Think of your freedom as your reward.
A reward?
Yes. Because now you can finally speak your heart. You don't have to be anguished and alone anymore.
I guess so. Back then, I didn't even dare to dream about having someone to confide in. I was scared of
terrified.
someone recognizing me for who I truly was, and exposing the secret I swore to protect.
She thought it would literally destroy
Even
the
the Furina
freaking nation.
you see on stage, she is the one you can trust. I had to keep all my feelings, all my curiosity about life to myself. No one could be allowed to know. That's what I really meant when I said I'm no good at maintaining relationships.
So that's where you were coming from. Paimon totally thought you were just a bit of a diva at heart.
Could you please get off my case? I don't know what's gotten into you today. I'm making an effort here. You could at least try to do the same.
Paimon is very on the nose. She is just really straightforward and just says things to people, and I'm just like, Paimon, why would you say this? Why would you say this, Paimon? Just read the room, Paimon. What is wrong with you? What Paimon meant to say was she doesn't like to see you so down. Do you feel better having gotten all this off your chest?
I do. I once had nothing but the truth, and now I'm finally free to live my own life again. And even though
After hundreds
I
of
have
years.
no idea where I'm going right now, at least the choice is in my hands. All right.
Hell yeah.
It's about time to head back. Paulo should have finished the ending by now.
Oh, definitely, 100%.
Okay, let's head back and check it out.
Didn't you say you needed to watch what you eat? You're supposed to be cutting down on fried foods, not wolfing down copious quantities of fish and chips, you know?
I would, I could really
It's
use
not
some
every day
fish and
we get
chips.
to dine at Spina di Rosula's expense. Can you believe how generous she is? I'm not about to pass on free food.
He's right. He's right.
Anyway, my character doesn't need to be slim and good looking. That's your job.
Oh,
Are
well.
you kidding me right now? It's not your character's health I'm worried about, it's yours. I've spent my whole life battling the effects of ill health, and it kills me to watch you willingly ruin yours by filling yourself up with junk all the time.
Oh no, looks like they're arguing again. We're back. Could you maybe put your differences aside for a moment?
Just for a moment. Just for a moment. Just a
You're
couple
back.
seconds. Please.
We've been enjoying Spina di Rosula's VIP treatment in your stead. Paulo's nearly done. We shouldn't have to wait too much longer.
Great! So you were discussing your characters, right? We heard she's playing the Oceanid who turns into a human girl. What about you?
Me? I'm an Oceanid too.
He was originally supposed to take the form of a crane, but he outgrew that role. Well, the costume at least. So now he's playing the boar instead.
You guys need to stop. Just stop.
Igor's not a bad character, actually.
Just,
He's the one who raises the little Oceanid, yes?
That's right. He has some pretty memorable lines too, like when he imparts some solemn words of wisdom to the little Oceanid. If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this truly what you want?
Wait, that sounds kind of familiar.
It's the most important line in the whole script. I think it's a symbolic statement about our director's life and legacy. She kept quiet about all the trials and tribulations she faced in running our troupe, allowing us to devote ourselves fully to performing. It was only after she was gone that we realized how tough her job really was.
You mentioned earlier that the troupe is like your home.
Yeah. I was born with an incurable illness, and once my family found out it couldn't be treated, they decided they didn't want me anymore. I spent some years taking whatever work I could find and trying to manage my illness with various medicines. But whenever I had a bad flare-up, I'd be lying in an alleyway for days at a time.
oh my
It
god.
was like that until the director found me one day. She told me I had a great voice and asked if I was interested in studying singing from her. I said yes. She took me under her wing, taught me to both sing and act, helped me find Mora for my meds, took care of me when my condition decided to flare up. I know it was all a huge burden on her.
She sounds like a really incredible person.
She really was. She gave everything she had to her troupe and the people in it. All of us were so proud to call her our director.
And then some asshole dissolved
I
her.
was a lost child too when she found me.
God.
As the child of a murderer, my parents weren't around when I was little, so I got sent to an orphanage.
The
The other
child
kids
of a
were
murderer.
always picking fights
Oh my
with
God.
me. They'd say things like, "Come on, you must be pretty tough if you're the son of a murderer." It was just to taunt me, though. I was an easy target, and they knew it. One day, I got beaten up so bad that I just couldn't take it anymore, so I ran away. I lost all faith in humanity by that point. Thought the whole world was out to get me.
Let me guess. Fortunately, the next person you ran into was the director.
Yeah. For the first time in my life, I was somewhere I felt safe. And I promised myself I'd stay here until the day the group parted ways.
The day you hoped would never come.
how times change. Oh, you're finally done?
He's out.
Get your butt over here. There's someone I need to introduce you to. This is our new artistic
I'm worried.
consultant.
I'm worried.
Miss Furina.
Furina? The Furina? Oh my god, how did you manage to wrangle that?
Oh, he's happy. I'm so
Please,
glad.
The honor is all mine. I was profoundly moved to hear about your troupe and your wonderful director. I just wanted to do something to help.
Same here.
Even so,
Same here.
This is just... Oh, wow. I'm sorry. I'll try to calm down. Now, where was I? Ah, yes, the script, of course. Let me give you a rundown of how the story unfolds in my version of the script. I'm sure you're already familiar with the beginning of the story. A little Oceanid decides she wants to become a human against the wishes of her family. She finds love and friendship in the bustling city. But then, disaster strikes. The people start to notice that all the fresh water in the surrounding area is slowly disappearing. The soil is becoming arid, plants and flowers are withering, and the people begin to panic. The little Oceanid, Cleo, and her lover decide to do something about it and investigate the truth of the matter together. In the end, they discover that all the waste and pollution created by humans over the years has caused the fresh water to flee the land, as if driven by a consciousness of its own.
Consciousness? You mean the water is sentient?
Water as a conscious entity. There's actually quite a few stories that explore this theme.
You guys literally
Since the little Oceanid is a
were
water
that
spirit,
for a while.
she immediately understands how the water is feeling. She then tells her lover about her true identity, as well as the truth behind the crisis. Her lover accepts her for who she is, and works with her to find a way to bring the water back. However, unbeknownst to them, there were some people eavesdropping when she revealed her secret. The little Oceanid is accused of being directly responsible for driving the water away, and faces the greatest dilemma of her life.
And then?
In the end, she makes the brave decision to sacrifice herself to save her lover
No!
and the rest of humanity.
No.
Huh? But didn't they all treat Cleo like a villain? Why would she want to save them after that?
Because it's bigger than that.
Well, she mainly wanted to save her lover, plus everyone who'd stood up for her.
Through her love,
Saving
for
humanity
human
is bigger
partner,
than
she was able
your
to find
anger
an even
towards
greater
humanity.
love,
That is,
one that extended to all of humanity.
there you go.
Surely the biggest strength of Cleo's character.
There's actually something else that bothers me. You know the protagonist is supposed to represent the director, right? And she never had the chance to become a hero in our world. If we're serious about dedicating this show to her memory, we should make the ending as true to life as possible. What about if the little Oceanid is hounded to death by people who hate her, her lover makes sure her secret never gets out, and humanity continues down the path to extinction?
That sounds like too cruel
That's
of an ending to
terrifying.
me.
Oh my god.
And perhaps a little irresponsible to present to the audience.
You should
That ending would
honor
be a
her
perfect
death.
mirror to Director Aureli's death, both arbitrary and meaningless.
You
On the
should
day when
honor
she
her
went missing,
death.
Director Aureli had
like,
instructed us all,
Bring her
somewhat
back
out
to
of the blue,
life through
to
the
leave
end of
court
the story.
Fontaine and wait for her outside the city. We waited and waited at the rendezvous point, but she never came. By the time we returned to the city, she disappeared without a trace. We looked for her. The Gardamex looked for her, but she was nowhere to be found. Increasingly, all the signs seemed to point to her being the latest victim in the serial disappearances case.
The director was the kindest soul in the world, yet she was senselessly sacrificed for the sake of a so-called experiment.
Imagine
by
if she's
someone
not
who had
dead.
nothing to do with her at all.
She's just missing. What if she's alive
But
still somewhere?
Doesn't the way she suddenly told you to leave the city suggest that maybe she had some sense of what was about to happen? It almost seems as if she was moving you to safety.
I've been trying to follow up on that ever since, but all my efforts so far have turned up nothing. Villemont might know something, but he won't open up to me.
Villemont? The one who's playing the role of the villain?
Yeah. He's been overwhelmed by grief. I think the director's death hit him hardest of all.
Grief? guilt, more like. Also, I have a hard time imagining that anyone took it harder than me. Because,
Let's not compare trauma here.
speaking of the play being true to life, I was deeply, madly in love with O'Reilly.
What?
Oh, really?
You kept that one quiet.
It's time to be upfront with you all. No more keeping secrets from each other. We'll never be able to agree on the ending if we can't be honest about how we feel. I did tell her how I felt once, but she turned me down pretty much straight away.
That's its own
She
trauma.
said that we were all like brothers and sisters to her, and she never considered us as potential romantic partners. Not that it came as a shock or anything. It was what I was expecting to hear. So I told her I'd always be there for the troupe, and I'd always be there for her. I said, maybe one day in the future, when everyone's settled into their own lives and on the up and up, and managing the troupe no longer required her constant attention, well, maybe then she could reconsider what she really wanted in her life. And now, that day will never come.
Paulo.
So if I'm the one writing this ending, then I'm gonna make sure it does right by O'Reilly. I
what I'm
won't
saying.
let anyone get in the way of that.
In that case,
Don't make it
You have
depressing.
to straighten things out with Vilmont once and for all, face to face. We've all had our differences of opinion over the ending, but those two have never seen eye to eye on anything. One of them has to compromise if we're ever going to reach a final decision.
Well, if that's where we're at, looks like it's time to go visit Vilmont.
Are you ready to face the truth?
Honestly, I'm slightly terrified. But for the sake of our final performance, I'll do whatever it takes. Funny you should ask, though. You really do get what I'm going through right now.
I certainly do. Come on, everyone. Allons-y!
Allons-y! See, that was Doctor Who says that it's you should watch that. It's pretty good. It's coming out soon. I think there's some episodes. There's an episode out right now. Doctor Who. It's pretty good. You should probably go watch the. All right. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then stay tuned for more. Who is Vilmont? Can they work out their differences so that they can create their final masterpiece? Until next time, and as always, just call Master Corvidien. Have a good one, guys.